All right, today we have Lavinia Tan. Welcome. A little bit about her. She is an MC, a voice, and a voiceover artist. She's a radio DJ for 1FM 91.3, host of the morning show called Brightside, 6 to 10 a.m., Mondays to Fridays. Right? Previously, she was on Gold 90.5 on the evening show. She was Globe Tracker's first Asian host, used to be known as Lonely Planet. And she won, the reason why she was there is because she won the regional search for the first host in Asia, from Asia, right? Interesting fact also, she is a President's Guide, highest Girl Guide honors.
This little guiding light of mine, I'm gonna let it down. Yes,
All
I'm the
right.
Girl Guide.
So Lavinia, thank you for being here.
It was the nicest intro, Jason. Thank you so much.
Most welcome. So I'm very curious always about this whole idea that you are now a radio DJ, and a long time ago, I want to find out from you, how did this whole thing start? When do you know that you want to be a radio DJ, or like just tell us the genesis of it? Was it when you're young you already knew that, oh, I want to present something, or what?
No, actually, I didn't know. When I was growing up, I wanted to be a veterinarian. I wanted to be a marine biologist. Honestly, that I just really loved animals and I love science. So I kind of fell into this thing, and I've been extremely lucky. I've been working with people who gave me opportunities, who trained me, and basically got me to where I am today. Really fell into it by chance. The first time I hosted was actually at a campfire for Girl Guides.
In secondary school?
Yeah, and then I figured, I didn't think much about it because I just went on stage. We just have to get the program through, right? So, I was, of course, nervous and everything. But somehow, people didn't stone me. People never say boo. So I thought, hey, okay lah, can.
This is what?
This was in secondary school. I was a company leader in the SCGS,
Was it Sec
second
three?
KOI. Probably Sec 4 maybe.
Sec 4. So this is the Girl Guides campfire.
The
This is
very
the one
first
that
one.
you invite ACS Barker scouts over.
Various schools, Girl Guides from like Crescents.
Scouts
We
also?
had scouts as well.
Okay.
Yeah, they're very rowdy.
I know. So one of the guys,
Good fun.
yeah, they always say like, okay, well, actually you should join of all the uniform groups, because I was in Boys Brigade.
Okay.
They always say you have to join Scouts
Why?
in secondary school because only Scouts have campfires like this, and you can invite it to these kind of schools.
Oh, yeah. There's quite a
because-
few. It's quite a social thing, isn't it? Yes.
All right,
But
so
then Boys Brigade, the uniform very nice. You look smarter. It's very smart looking uniform. And your marching is definitely better.
yeah, but I think Boys Brigade was about marching more than Scouts. Scouts,
But
was
I
a bit-
admired your marching because I would see at NDP parade. The Boys Brigade like contingent, solid. Very nice, very sharp.
Thank you.
Sharp.
I didn't really think about that, but yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, I remember a lot of drills, but painful. Personally, for me, painful. So okay, coming back when you were Sec 4, you hosted it, and who asked you to host it, or did you volunteer?
Wow, gosh, I don't know. I think because I was the company leader, so I think we all just had to step up. The leaders were all in charge of like organizing the campfire and seeing it through. So we just like, okay, no, I'll do it. I don't know what I was doing, but okay, I do it. Didn't know about how to present, how to hold the mic, how to script things in. And we just went with it, and really, I don't know what happened, but really by God's grace, it worked out. Nobody killed me. Nobody was like, oh my God, get her off the stage.
Right.
And since then, I think I was always asked to come like, hey, can you host this? Can you host that?
Right.
Even when I went to JC, new school, everything. Yeah. Can you come and host this, like this event and whatever? Like, okay. Yeah.
So that was your first time. Then after that, subsequently, you got more comfortable, and people just continued to ask you to host things.
I would say that, even up to today,
Yeah.
I still get nervous. Before we know how the drill is, I'm already trained, definitely more experienced, but I still get nervous just before I'm about to go up on stage. And I take it as a really good sign, because when you care enough about something, right, you get nervous about it because you want to do a good job. It means a lot to you. So I always tell people the day I can't be bothered, not nervous, don't care, it's probably the time when I have to quit.
Right.
So I'm still nervous. Even now I'm nervous.
So even, okay, let me try to figure out, because usually when it comes to something like a talent that happens that, oh, you're good in hosting, it's not immediate. There are signs when you were younger that something happened, like, okay, for example, maybe you did a school project, a science project, and then you presented and all that. Is there any earliest memory, even before that, when you were presenting and it's like, hey, yeah, actually, I don't mind. I kind of like it.
I get what you mean. I think I never really thought about it because it wasn't like an official thing, right? But I think back in primary school, I was always happy to entertain. I love to like, make people laugh because I think that laughter is really important. And that is something that's at my core since I was young. I love to like joke, play pranks, make people entertain and laughing with me, at me. I didn't mind. So even at primary school, I was very happy to go in front of the class in order to tell a story, to be a character. But I never, it's only until, you're pointing it out now that I was like, oh yeah, I never really thought about it. But those were probably the earliest interactions, and to get a positive response. Or maybe to just not get a negative response. Just make me go like, okay, this is quite fun. I will do again.
Right. So these sessions in primary school when you're doing that and all that, besides having that positive response, when you were up there, what were you thinking about?
To tell that story, to be that character, and then have fun. And I did want to, I mean, if you make me think back, I did want that reaction from people, because I was trying to be funny, I was trying to make them laugh. When they laughed, that was the instant feedback that I got, the instant gratification I got. So, oh wow, this is really like opening my like, epiphany, yes.
Yeah, so a lot of times these patterns happen, and for you, when this pattern happened, I'm always very curious because besides the feedback, one thing about talent and all that, sometimes you may be up there and you may think that, hey, actually I'm quite funny, but then you're not sure. And also sometimes maybe my classmates will say certain things, maybe it's positive feedback. Do you get any positive feedback from other people, like adults, teachers, or anybody else that kind of help me to understand that, hey, Lavinia, that's your talent. That's something that you're quite good at.
Oh, okay. I don't think I ever had it outrightly said to me by a teacher or, I mean, my friends just go, oh yeah, hey, you were really good on stage, and we enjoyed it. That's it. And for that, I'm already just very, very grateful, right? That I didn't get booed off stage again. So like a teacher coming to tell me, I think maybe the first time I ever heard like a teacher in a position of like an authority was when I was in JC1, and we had to do our student council speeches. So I wanted to be in student council. I mean, I really loved it. I was like a prefect before. That kind of goody good. But I really liked it, So, contributing to the school and all that. So in JC, I wanted to run for it. So we all have to go on stage. All the nominees have to give a speech. And I took it really seriously. It's like, oh, how can I write this? We're speaking to the whole school, not just the J1s that I was a cohort from, but also the J2s and the teachers and everything. And then I remember that after I gave my speech, I was like, okay, it's over, it's done. Oh my God, please let me be voted in, right? That's what I was thinking at that point. And I think Greta Crafield, she was in charge of the debates team at ACJC, and she is known for like having the best, really training the best debates team. So our ACJC debate team was one of the strongest, right? And she had told one of her students who knew me, I really like her, asked her to come and join the debates team. Yeah, and I was just like, oh. So I think that kind of made me feel like,
so there's an affirmation
doing something
the highest
right.
class.
It was really quite a compliment, and I felt really bad to turn her down because I had my heart set on being a student counselor. And she's Greta Crafield. She's so famous. She's a legend. To say no to her is like, good thing I was not in arts. I was in science. So
okay, so J1, you did that pitch, and I remember that I think all of you had to go up and
make a speech. Make a speech. Yeah.
And you did something different. Somebody did a signboard or something. Somebody else.
I don't know. I can't remember what I did. But I know that she was one, and even a JC2 senior came up to me just like, I really love you, and I'm going to vote for you. And I was like, hey, so that was really special to me.
Awesome. So help us understand from J2, J1. So you know that there's something that you kind of like you're drawn to at that point of time. Do you think of that being your career?
No.
Okay.
No, I think I was a very Singaporean mindset lah. My grandmother and my mom were all like, okay, accountant, doctor can or not? Then I say cannot. I know triple science. Not that smart. Then she, okay, never mind. What is it? Can you be lawyer? And I never really thought about it. I just wanted to go through the that set route, right? So in JC, okay, now we got to get into, uni, and then from there, we're going to get a job. I don't know what it was. And for the longest time, I was clueless. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just, okay, I I like science. Okay, I'll do this. You know, I didn't really know where it was going to take me or why I was doing something. That's why up to today, right, I really admire, parents who know how to guide their kids, let them find their way, but help them to find the way.
Yeah.
I'm a mother of 3 boys. I don't know if I'm doing that right now, but I've always admired that. And also, like, I had classmates who had a very clear idea of what they wanted.
Yeah.
They're like, I want to be a doctor.
Yeah.
And from secondary school, they're already planning their route. And I was like, oh, man, I feel like I missed out because I did not have that kind of clarity. But, worked out somehow.
So you knew that you didn't, so you didn't know what you wanted to do in JC. Then how did you find, so you went uni, right?
Yeah.
So what course do you take knowing that you're not sure what you want to do?
I just went to the university that would take me in. And you know what? I always feel like everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, agree.
And I ended up at SMU. And you know what? I was in the right place that I was supposed to be because of the way the SMU culture was, what they aimed to be when they first started. I was there as one of their pioneer batches, and I was just in the right place. Because while I was in SMU, I was able to also freely explore, like my other interests, my other passions. And I think all of that led towards me to where I am today. So at that point, it's like, which university would take me in? But you know what? It fell into place. I was meant to be at SMU as well.
What in SMU helped you to give you that breadth of trying different things?
SMU has, they always encourage you to just be more holistic. It's not just about, chasing the papers and all that. I met a lot of interesting people who are so passionate. I met Elvina Tay. She is the girl who is an amazing student, but more importantly, she was such a go-getter. And she started the SMU BE. It's like a kind of a CCA where everybody, you either do broadcast. She set up the radio broadcast in SMU, and also it's where the whole host of a whole stable of MCs would be. So this was the CCA, and I thought oh my goodness, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
I shall join you. Yes. Yeah.
So what is BE called?
I think it's BE
Broadcast
Entertainment, I think. Yeah, my memory is a bit faulty. She started it. I think she's 1 year younger than me, but can you imagine? I meet incredible people like that. So I am where I am today because of all these people in my life and being at the right place.
Right. So in SMU, she started this. You joined.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had already been hosting quite a bit. I've got my campfires, and I used to host little things. Like in JC, I hosted, when we were J2, I hosted the orientation campfire, things like that. So I was always hosting, I was always presenting and stuff like that. But I never really learned the proper skill or format.
Okay.
I just did what I could do. And I never knew how to push myself because I was just doing what I could do and then hope that it was enough, Yeah. So in SMU, of course, we're getting older. And then there was this whole CCA, and I found people who were also interested. I thought wow, this is refreshing, man. Yeah. And I think the main thing was that it was all about presenting. You know what I mean? Whether it's on air or in front of people at a campfire, it was just always presenting. I never knew it then. I always thought it's just hold mic can already, Yeah.
So would you say that if there wasn't BE, you wouldn't be here? Or would you say that you would have found something else? It just so happened that BE helped you to fan that flame and give you that professionalism. Because when it comes to passion, a lot of times passion is raw, which means that passion has no performance. And performance is the other part. Performance means that the world sees you as 9 upon 10, 10 upon 10. So without performance, passion just stays as a hobby.
Right.
Right? So I want to understand that. So what happened?
How did I cross over?
Yeah. Okay. Was it because of that? Then you got opportunities from other people?
Oh, not really. I mean, it gave me opportunities to host events. So
you hosted an SMU?
Yeah, wanted to host an event and they needed an MC. They would first go to SMU BE because that's the whole stable of hosts. And we had some really good voices and everyone, and we all, I had my experiences. So I was okay lah as a host lah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can earn money one lah.
So they paid?
Token time. I mean, for me as a student, I'm like, this is not bad. I mean, I'm doing what I like and I'm getting paid for it. Hey.
Don't they, SMU, don't they encourage entrepreneurship even within that? Yeah.
They do.
Try to get businesses, try to do it, start it up there.
I just did not have, I think I always was a little bit more shy,
Okay.
so I'm just so grateful that there was this SMU
Yeah.
PE, where I can come in and I'm like, hey, but still must audition, must audition.
Right. So you got gigs there, and when you were doing that, like almost professionally, because people were kind of like giving you token sums and
Yeah.
all that, do you know that was your career?
No, I think,
Still
no. Okay, so it was during SMU, right?
Yeah.
And okay, all in all, I think like I have also arrived where I am because I was quite a go-getter in the sense that if it was something that I really wanted,
Mhm.
I try and like create opportunity. I don't know where that gung-ho-ness came. It doesn't always happen with all my life. I'm
Yeah.
also quite lazy and procrastinator in some areas.
Yeah.
But somehow when it came to like anything to do with my voice, anything to do with like presenting work, emceeing, hosting, I was quite like, I'm going to create the opportunity myself. So back then when I was in SMU, there was the hunt for Globe Tracker's first host from Asia or an Asian host. And
This was when you're studying.
yeah. And then I said, okay, I go. And I went there and it's held somewhere in Orchard Road. I think it was like Wheelock Place or something, and they have masses of people, right? And then you see veterans like Hamish Brown, you see like Benedict Go, and they're just like, yeah, just go home lah. Part of me is like, don't need to try already, but somehow I just kept at it.
Yeah.
And then they called me back and I was really surprised. So we went through the various stages and I got picked. It's very surreal. I took a whole term, 6 months off to film the show. The show was filmed over a course of like, I think 3 weeks in Florida. But I took a whole month off, I just took a whole term and I said, and my grandmother said to me, okay, you can do it, but please, sir, I will not die until you graduate. And I was like, so if I don't graduate, you'll never die, right? And then my grandma wanted to slap me. But yeah, even I didn't think I could make money from it. I didn't think it could be a career that would support me and that I could really create a life for myself. But the opportunity came, so I went with it, Yeah, and when I got that first paycheck from Globe Tracker, I was like, wow. But even then, it didn't register. I was a very Singaporean mindset. I would have to get a job, maybe in an office. And then I went into advertising.
You did?
I did.
So after you finished SMU, graduated,
Yeah.
you went to advertising.
Yeah. And I have said this to people. I think if I never was able to carve out this career in like presenting or as a radio DJ, right, I think I would have ended up in advertising. I quite love just how dynamic it is. I mean, people work hard and they play hard. They're surrounded by all that kind of creativity. Yeah. So that was the backup.
Okay, so you went for a normal job.
At first,
Advertising.
At first.
How long was that?
I don't think I even finished my 6 months probation because somewhere in between, I got an offer to host a travel show to Hokkaido. Yeah. So they wanted 4 hosts and each host would cover 1 season of the year. And then I got picked for winter. I'm like, I'm really not good with cold. But anyway, I did it. So I told the boss and I was like, I'm going to be away for a while. It's not fair for me to right? And I was on probation, right? I just joined the agency. So I left and the boss was quite upset lah.
Yeah.
I should not mention where I was.
Okay. So you told your boss you had this and couldn't you kind of so let's be very practical. Sometimes you can almost tell somebody that if they really like you in the company and they feel that you're of great value add, wasn't the option of saying that, can I come back in 3 months' time? Can you hold this space for me?
Yeah, I think I didn't have that kind of self-confidence.
Okay.
Strange, right?
Yeah.
But I was very shy. I was very I'm a happy worker. Like I will, if you need a workhorse, I'm there, right?
Okay.
But I was also very very quiet. I was good with people, but on the whole, I think I was more just and I didn't have that much belief. I am, the you need to have me back. I'm not. What's it? I'm like the big dog, the big owner. I didn't feel that way. I knew I was good at things, but I'll just be and I just felt like at that point, I just wanted to do that hosting gig.
Okay. Yeah. So the focus was there. Didn't really consider having some kind of arrangement.
Because I figure, right, in Singapore, there's such a big. Our advertising agency at that time was huge. You know, we had so many local agencies, we had so many international agencies, right? I figure I can just come back and join again.
Okay.
Yeah. And I had a really good mentor at that point, and he was like the creative director of the agency that I worked with. And I figured that, yeah, if this hosting thing doesn't work out right, I will just come and find you. Okay, thank you. And he was really nice about it. So he said, of course, you know.
Okay.
But it was the big boss, because I had to tell him I was quitting.
Yeah,
That he'd be like, oh my God, what's going on? You know.
Right.
So yeah.
So you quit, and the hosting thing for Hokkaido was how long?
About 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really fun. I think more so at that point, it was not about the money. It was more about the experience,
Yep.
right?
Yep. How do you even get that? Who was it? Like somebody asked you to do it, or they saw you on Globe Tracker and then they contacted you?
You know what? I can't really remember. I knew I had to go for an audition for it.
Okay.
That's what I remember. So I went for the audition, and somehow I got picked. And the other 3 hosts were actually like really experienced local hosts, I think.
Okay.
Oh, what was her name? She was absolutely gorgeous. I thought she was so beautiful.
It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So after that, when you finish that, you got another paycheck.
Yep.
So the funny thing about our passion is that if you perform at a high level, that means once your passion feeds into the performance part, then the market recognizes it and then pay comes.
Okay.
So that's the way that I see things, that it starts with passion, but passion without performance is a hobby. So once you gain performance by trying out different things, getting feedback and all that, going for courses, I don't even know whether you went for courses or maybe you learned it.
Did.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Okay, share later.
Oh.
So after you get enough performance, the market will say that, okay, because you get this performance, I will pay you. So that looks like a set formula for you to just go straight into that all the way. Did you?
Somehow something clicked. Something clicked that I'm really good at this. Like
After the
using my
Hokkaido?
voice. No, all along the way, but I just never really I would try and create opportunities for myself, but I don't think I was as aggressive as like I think I could have been, but somehow it worked out. Somehow it did. And again, I just never really knew if this could be enough to support myself, because there's a practicality, right?
Yes.
We live here. I want to one day have a family, have a house to raise my kids and all that. So I was a little bit, gung-ho. I didn't really have to worry too much at that point because of my age, you know. So I just went with it. Like, it was a bit fearless. Yeah, now it'll be different, you know. I have so many things I have to look after, my 3 kids, you know, husband, house, everything. So not so easy to be fearless.
True. So after Hokkaido, what happened? Do you go back to advertising or you actually continue exploring?
Oh, okay. So after Hokkaido, right, I told myself that if I was never ever in DJing or even like any form of presenting or hosting, right, it will be advertising agency or doing something to do with branding. So at that point, I was jobless, right? I came back from Hokkaido from a high, and it's really a humbling experience, you know? And like, I had all these experiences. I had one Globe Tracker, but it wasn't enough as a calling card. So I came back from it and I said, okay, I got to make something out of this. I went to different talent agencies. And I said, hey, you know, I did this thing. Is there anything, you know, can I come on board, you know, work with you on something? Nobody would, they say like, yeah, okay, thanks. And I'm like, okay, thanks, you know. And
so you did try. You did try to make it a
career.
career.
The thing was that there was this one agency that I approached. Now, she's run by this incredible lady who set it up. Her name is Wendy Ho, okay? And this agency specifically handles emceeing talents, okay? And it's called Artist E. I should have mentioned that at the start. But so I approached her and I was like, oh, you know, I did Globe Tracker, I did this thing. I'm really proud.
I am the
I want to say that. I just don't know if it's allowed. I'm allowed to say that or here. But yeah, I was like, So, and it was humbling because I went to her and she was like, yeah, it's very good that you did that. She was very upfront about it. And she said, but you know, you have no proper training. You know, if I take you on, I have to train you. And I will want to train you before I can even see whether or not you're good enough to introduce to clients and start hosting shows. It was super humbling. And so she kind of rejected me at that point.
Right.
And then I just, you know, I kept tabs on what her agency was
so
doing.
curious about that.
Yeah.
you were in your mind, you were good. In your mind, you were good, but you don't know how good you are, right? So in your mind, you were good. When somebody tells you that you need training, what was going on in your mind?
Of course, a bit shocked lah. I was just like, it is a truth, right? Because I never went for any formal training, right? I didn't even know you could go for training for these kind of things. But it's humbling, like really humbling. I mean, it's a shock. I was just like, how could you say that? Do you know who I think I am?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But Wendy is someone I'm really grateful for. She has been my agent. Yeah. So soon after that, her agency had this course. She would conduct it like maybe once a year to try and spot new talent. And it was a hosting workshop. So it would be like over 2 or 3 days and it's a couple hours. And she would train, everything from mic craft, how you stand on stage, how do you, where's your eye line with the audience and things like that. It was the best thing ever. One of the best few like workshops I've ever gone for, and it stayed with me. Everything that she's taught me has stayed with me to today. And you can tell the difference from a well-trained and experienced event host who has been trained well to those who just think that I am and I'm so good at what I do. No, there's a difference. Yeah.
Okay.
So
that was your first training ever in your entire life?
Pretty much. Yes. So I did that. And then I did that. And then she said, I remember you. I know you came to me some months back, right? And I was like, yes. And she said, the fact that you signed up for this and I saw how hard you worked, I'm very impressed. I'm going to give you a chance. And she gave me my first chance. So she took me under her wing and she continued to train me as an event host. And I'm just really lucky. I've met all these incredible people. She's still my agent up till today. And of course, we know we're now more friends, but I respect her greatly. And I attribute a lot of my success today to her.
Awesome. So was that the start of everything? That means, okay, firstly, for that workshop that you went for, was it something that's paid or given?
No, I paid for it.
You paid for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so at that point, it was more of like, I still didn't know whether I could make this into a career. And I was just trying everything that I could.
Yeah.
And I was the sort that I'm willing to like, okay, I will come up money in order to like create opportunity for myself, right? And I also believed in being trained. Like anything that can help me better my craft, I would do it. Or better like just my way of thinking or anything, I would do it.
Yeah.
So that was the one thing I did.
Okay.
I can't remember whether I did that before I went for, what I tell people is my most expensive audition. So back then, MediaCorp had what they called a radio academy. And they had this course. It was like a week long. Every evening you would go in Monday to Friday. And they would teach you they expose you to everything of how it's like to be an on-air DJ. You get to do mock talk sets. You get to go to visit the studios. You get critiqued by like a program director of a radio station. So I saw that and I went, it's like at that time, $500. And remember, I got no job. I come back from hosting. I'm like, I'm broke, right? Yeah. And I said, okay, I got to do this. Because I knew that we would do demos and it would be listened and critiqued on the spot by the program director. That's my way in. Yeah. So I, try and find the money, did it. And during that week, right, whoever was partnered, we did it in groups of 3. I did it with this girl called Sharon and this older guy. And I just like, okay, come, let's rehearse. Come, I help you script, and do it so that all 3 of us came up with a really good demo. And it got picked up. So the program director who came in to direct was another key individual in my life, Stephen Chu. He was the program director of Gold at that point. Right. And he heard like the demo that I did with my teammates. And then after the whole thing, he got the organizer to like get in touch with me and say, hey, the program director is really interested. He thinks you have something there. Would you like to come back, and have a chat with him and maybe start training and all that? And I was like, yes, it worked out. Most expensive audition worked out. But Stephen Chu, I credit for helping me with my career, specifically in radio. Yes. He was the one who saw my potential, validated me, gave me an opportunity. He was in a position to give me an opportunity, which is so rare. I mean, you think about it, each radio station, how many DJs can you have it, right? On the roster. Yeah. And he let me come in as a part-timer, train me, as things on air, off air. He gave me the best advice and he was really upfront. He'd be like, that really sucked, Lavi. You need to change that. And I'll be like, okay, And so we worked together, and then he went on to do other stations, other things. I also went on to do other things, other stations. Now we are back together. We are reunited, and it feels so good. We're reunited at SPH Radio. Yes, and he's my boss again.
Yeah.
I call him my boss man. I'm like, boss man. Yeah. So I've always been lucky. I mean, I've had really important people take me to where I am, and I don't think I would have without that.
So this is very interesting.
Why?
I believe that if you are passionate enough about something, you will create your own luck. And creating your own luck means that you are as close to the epicenter of what is happening or the decision makers of what's happening. And that's what exactly you did. You went to, as you paid for a workshop. So you had two trajectories. One is the MC route and the other one is the radio route. But both, you put yourself, and you paid money to put yourself in positions of decision makers where you can prove yourself.
Yes.
So success is always when preparedness hits that opportunity, and opportunity is luck. So once you hit success, success is when that preparedness hits that opportunity and you get that. So you created that luck for yourself by paying money because you know that they are going to see you, and if you're really good, they will give you an opportunity.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of it that way, that you were actually creating it?
I was just really, in a way, part desperate and part no, really. Like, I was like, oh, I have to make this work. If not, I really have to go and find an office job. I have to go back to advertising and stuff.
Well, actually, what's wrong with going back advertising?
I didn't mind it, actually. I really liked it. Yeah, they work hard, they play hard. I know for a fact that if I didn't end up in this, I would end up either in branding. And when I came back from Hokkaido, I actually also did the same thing. I went up to agencies. I wrote emails saying like, hey, I'm happy to come in as an intern. Yeah. I called myself a radioactive cockroach. I'm tough. Nothing can destroy me. Yeah. Just to get their attention. And then a branding firm took me on. Yeah. They said,
as an intern.
As an intern. And I said, you don't even have to pay me. Just let me be here for a week. I was at that point, I was just really like, I've got nothing to lose. Yeah. But I need a job. Yeah. And then after 1 week, she hired me. She said, I'm going to pay you for that week. I'm going to give you $1,000 and come and work for me.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
that's interesting. The tenacity that you have to give them that no risk kind of offer. So that no risk kind of offer is almost like it's almost like if anybody has passion for something, you go to some mentor or some sifu or some whoever is good at that. You go there and you give them a no risk offer.
Yeah.
No risk offer is I will do anything. It's almost like Mr. Miyagi lah. I'll carry your water and all that, anything, but it's creating luck because you are close to the person that can make that decision.
Yeah, but I think make sure that it's really in an industry or a company that you really believe in and you're passionate about. Because I think,
True.
Some things I offer, I think I don't want to.
Yeah. So it's I mean, not many people will say that you don't have to pay me. I just want to work. I want to be close to wherever the action is, as close to the campfire as possible.
Yeah, and I think I just knew, I just really knew that I would work hard. Yeah. I would do everything to impress you, so I remember for that 1 week, I would oh, what are you doing? Oh, who's this brand? And you know what? At night I go home, I would come up with campaigns. And then the next day I'll be like, her name was Kim Faulkner, right? And then I said, can I just, if you have time, I'd like to just present to you. And she was like, oh, okay. And she was surprised. Really, surprised. And then I even drew my own, creatives and stuff like that. And I'd be like, wow. And this is the, the basis of it, So I could do that because I went to SMU and I did marketing, I did law in SMU. And I think that trained my creative brain for branding and all that. So.
Right. So when it comes to passion, I break down passion to 3 parts. One is interest. That means topics and things that you can talk about forever, right? Or very long time. So that's interest. The other one is strengths, the task that comes easily to you, very natural for you. For example, picking up a mic in front of people. Some people get stage fright. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it didn't affect you that much, right?
I'm still nervous. Okay. You could, at the start when I started, you could hear quiver in my voice. Oh, quiver because I was nervous. Yeah.
Okay. But maybe that.
But now I know how to control it and fight it.
Yeah. Okay. And then the last one was the values. Values are the ones that, for whatever that you're doing, if it aligns to that values, it's almost like I'm living up my values while I am doing my job. So what is interesting is that I believe in this whole idea of a multiverse. What it means is that you could have been, if given the right opportunities, you could have been doing very well in advertising. Or if the doors open even more for that side, you could have been doing very well in branding. But it's just that so happened that the doors open more, could be the doors open more for radio and DJing and emceeing, and then it just went there. But in a different life, a Lavinia in another dimension might not have paid that $500.
Yeah, it could have been that. Just say like, oh, I have no money,
Yeah.
and then like, oh, too bad, you know.
Too bad, it's not for
I'm
me.
pretty sure I borrowed money from my gran, and my gran was like, "What? Not an office job?" Hey, even when I was in advertising, right?
Yeah.
I say, "Hey, ma, I'm a accounts executive." Then she like, very good, accounting. Then I like, no. We deal with clients. We handle the account.
Right.
And she was like, accounting lah. Then I was like, no, mama, I did not train as an accountant. I can't be one, you know?
Right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
she didn't recognize all that.
Oh no.
But she loved me enough to say, okay, fine. You look like this really means a lot to you.
Yeah.
I'll loan you the money.
Yeah, so if that never happened, you are Lavinia, the advertising girl. Could be.
I don't mind though. But now that you've pointed this out, I also feel that everything was meant to be, right?
Yep.
Like the parts, now I went through that whole route in the advertising agency, and that kind of helped me in my understanding of how it was, for advertising, creating those ads, really down to the processes, right? Working with the production houses and all that. And now when I do voiceovers, it helps me understand, because I've worked with for the client, I've worked with the design studio in the agency, I've worked with the creatives in the agencies, the different account executives. Managing all that has helped me. Even when I'm now in this position doing voiceovers, or even as a radio DJ, we work with clients and stuff like this. Everything happened for a reason, honestly. Yeah.
Agree. So I do believe that even in the next 5-10 years, you might be where you are, it might be different, but whatever the experiences and that you have, and it most likely could be something to do with that still. Advertising, marketing, understanding the clients, what clients want, how do you present it and communicate it in a way that they really want. So if I were to ask you, so for me, I have like 10 different interests, 10, 20 interests, right? I was with Mark. So I was with Mark doing busking on the streets of Orchard Road, writing our own songs. I was a balloon artist in Takashimaya and the clown outfit there, Takashimaya, and clown outfit over at CC. Community Center, where it was super hot. It was a super long queue. Everybody was just complaining because there was only one balloonist, and everybody wants something super complicated. I'm not very good at it. I just learned it from my friend. So I'll be like, can I get you a sword? Can I get you a sword? Because sword is the easiest to do. Can I get you a dog? Can I get you a dog? Then they were like, teddy bear. And teddy bear, okay, so from a scale of 0 to 10.
Teddy bear is 10. 11.
Okay, teddy bear is around like 9. Difficulty, and he can burst. I'm not very good at it. Then a dog is like a 1.
Okay.
A sword is a 1.
Okay.
So every child comes to me and says like, it's either a sword if you are a boy, or a dog if you're a girl. Then some of them is like creative, like okay, I don't want a dog. Then you like animals? Yeah, animals. Okay, can I get you a giraffe, which is just a longer neck dog?
Hey, this is very clever. I never saw it that way. Oh.
Because it's like, wow, I got no time, and there's such a long queue, and this is a community center, and it was like, I was just burning up in this clown costume. So she's dying there, and then the parents would be like, you will see the parents just getting more and more
agitated.
Yeah, because it was hot, and they were just queuing up, and imagine like probably like 20 to 40 people just queuing up, and I had to take so long, my fingers were like killing me, and then the parents all come to me and like, you cannot get another person. Why only one person today?
Do you see another person around me?
Yeah.
If there was,
so then it's like what?
Hey.
I want to tell them budget issues, but no, forget it. So I had interest in that, but that was just interesting. I don't think I had interest in ballooning, but I had interest in, what was that interest? It was just a job. It was just an odd job out of nowhere, earn a couple $100. So I did insurance last time.
No.
Yeah, I did professional will writing.
That's not easy.
Yeah.
Insurance will writing not easy. Wow.
I did fund management. I did so I attempted to do a street culture magazine as well. So we went to I think
Nice.
MDA, I think.
Ah,
Yeah, so try to present it. And then at the point of time they were like, wow, there was a lot of controversial things in our street culture magazine. Then they were like, this is not PG, this is not PG, this things like so many different things. And I do feel that my interest always lies in somewhere along hacking something.
okay.
So finding something faster, something about personal motivations, something about psychology, something about how do you live a life that's meaningful, fulfilling, and purposeful, and then also something about strength. So I did all these things, and after a while, it kind of like went to where I am now. As a performance coach, I coach MNCs, I coach one-on-one. I try to bring out the best in people because I believe that everybody can be a king or a queen of your own mountain. But your mountain has to be that very, very unique niche. It cannot be something generic. It has to be extremely unique. But if you find that thing that is like the most unique thing about you, you leverage it, you play to your strengths, you can be the king and queen. And that's why it's like, wow, I enjoy that a lot because that's in my life as well. The whole idea of searching and all that. So I had a lot of interest. And I could have been I also love advertising. So I'll do logo designs. I won an award for logo design.
Look at you.
Yeah, so I like that a lot. So I could have been many different things. For you, you had these two interests. Were there any other interests that you could have explored? And when you think back now, it's like, actually, I could have been good in that as well.
Wow.
Was it because you studied bio and you're like, I like bio or something?
Yeah, I really like science and I was good at it. Like I got some at primary 3. We went to do it, the Australian International Mathematics competition, and then they had the science one. All primary school students went for it. I'm very sure you did. And then you do the test and then you get the score. Yeah, I was like top 1%. Then we would go to the Australian Commission, get money. They give us a check and then they give us a medal. I was like, hey, yeah.
I don't think I scored very well. So yeah. So was there another route instead of branding, advertising, radio, DJing, MC? Was there another route of bio that you could have like, hey, actually, I could have done that?
No, I think I lost that opportunity because I was actually quite a playful kid in JC. So I didn't do well for my first A levels, not well enough for me to end up in NUS Science. And at that point, you see, I'm just so really clueless about things, I didn't know, I wasn't very resourceful. I was very street smart, but yet also not very resourceful. I don't know how to explain that. You're like, what? I could have gone into SMU at that point, but I think I was just so like one track mind of like, oh no, I must end up in NUS and I must do something there like science, because that was just ingrained into me as the SG path.
Yes.
Like studying the education path.
And SMU was new, so there was a risk.
No, I didn't mind it. I think at that point, I just never thought about it because I was just like, no, NUS, right? Everyone goes to NUS, so I just end up there, right? Yeah, even NTU was like, what if I ended up at NTU? Maybe I would have met my future husband there. Don't know. He's also my interest.
Okay.
No,
but any other interest besides that? So bio was a closed door. There was no more doors of opportunity.
And then I actually redid my A levels.
Okay.
Because I was like, I need to get into NUS Science, right?
Oh, that was the purpose of redoing your O levels, A levels.
Yeah, I could have gone into SMU, but I don't know why. And now I look back and be like, oh my goodness, foolish of you. But somehow I was meant to only go in. I really believe this. It was meant to happen only at that time. If I had gone in a year before, I would have not met certain people. Like, okay, this is a bit sidetrack. If I didn't end up the second year in the second pioneer batch, right, in SMU, I wouldn't have met my girlfriend Sylvia. And Sylvia was the one who introduced me to my now husband. They work together. Yeah. So you see, if I was 1 year apart,
sliding doors are the show.
So I don't think I'll meet the love of my life, no. How?
Okay. Fantastic.
Side note, I really love my husband. Yes.
Awesome. So no more interest. So coming back then, after you got the job, your Stephen, is it?
Stephen Chu.
Stephen. So Stephen gave you a job?
Yeah, as a part-timer. So we were known as part-timers or floaters. So if anybody, part-timers. So we're actually paid by the hour. And if any of the DJs on the roster were going on leave, we would come in and we would sub.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you attained that level of performance that you are actually able to do that. He allowed you to actually do that.
Of course, there
As a
was a lot
part-time.
of training before. I
Okay.
could even do my first show. But you know what? Stephen Chu is the kind of guy that, he has just started the career for many, many radio talents because he just has this innate ability to spot out talent, and to actually be considered a talent by him, to me, is a huge honor. Like, I want to write on my resume kind of thing. So when he takes you on as a talent, he will really nurture. And I'm so grateful to Stephen Chu for that, because took me under his wing. The first time I went on air, really so nervous, right? And he's texting in. This is an early morning shift. Like, I'm coming in at like 6 a.m. to cover on the weekend. And he is like...
That was the first time. When was that?
Yeah, oh, I don't... Quite some number of years ago.
Okay.
20, it was with the
Saturday, Sunday.
I came in on a Saturday morning to sit in at 6 a.m., and I'm nervous, like, oh, will I get the panels right? Everything, like, suddenly press the wrong thing, never switch off mic, then, say a bad word or what, right? And he was actually listening. He actually bothered to be up at that time and critique. And as I go along, he's like, okay, this, you might want to try this. That's the kind of man that I got to work for. And I'm now working for him again. I tell you, I'm just really grateful. Yeah.
Right. Do you think that... So one thing I think about always is that for somebody to gain that performance as fast as possible, they need mentors.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And good mentors,
Yeah, and good mentors. And they have to be in that level of performance that you can actually grow into. So sometimes the idea of knowing what you are passionate about is not good enough. You need to be able to find those mentors to be able to bring you up in the faster way. Imagine that if you didn't have those mentors, besides the opportunity they gave you, just the honing your craft, how different would that be?
Yeah. I think, if they were not in the position to give me an opportunity, I think everything... I'm not sure if I could even be where I am today, honestly. Yeah. I also think that it's great. I see kids nowadays, they're like, yes, I must find a mentor. And then but I also think you need to come to the table with the right kind of attitude.
Yes.
I was the sort that I was very humbled by all these people that, I met. And I always felt like, even up till today, I'm like, what is the next thing I can learn? How can I get better at what I do, you know? And every session of even a voiceover, I'm always like, that's a very good thing. I learn from it, So yeah, get a mentor, but also come with a mindset to learn. You're a sponge, right?
Yeah.
And you have to put your ego aside. Is it very bad if I say that I did not have much of it?
That's very humble of you.
No, I was really like...
Yeah, you're like the most humble person in the world.
I felt like I have so much to learn, Am I top of my game? I don't know,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just was really always wanting to learn and get better, get stronger, get good. Yeah.
When it comes to mentorship and the ideal student, the ideal person that a person wants to mentor is a person whose attitude is just very eager. And I do share with people that if you are trying to be mentored by somebody, you need to show that you are learning. You need to show that you are absorbing. And you can absorb and you can show that through, for example, active listening. They say, okay, Mr. X, you said this. So that's active listening. You say back what that person is saying to you so that they know that, hey, this guy is serious. Another way that I do share with people is that you need to take notes. So for some people, maybe just sharing back is enough. But taking notes show the mentor that this person is damn serious. So the idea of being that student mindedness, that always wanting to absorb and learn from them. And the idea is also just to respect them. That's like, okay, I respect their time, because sometimes mentors are busy and you cannot demand things, you can request things. So
true.
Being so respectful for their time and understanding that everything they're giving you the light of day is chance.
I really felt that way every time, and I'm the note taker lah. I'm the one that loves to take notes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm the nerd lah. So even up to today, I'm always like, oh my God, we need to jot that down. It needs to be in a physical form, so that we never lose that idea.
Yeah. And to a mentor, that shows that you are serious. Compared to people, and I've seen so many that they just come in, they sit down, and then listen to you. They don't do active listening. They don't tell you what. They don't say back what you just told them, They don't take notes. And in your mind, it's like,
Why are you here?
where is your learning? Where is your tenacity to learn? There's nothing.
Be here. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
So,
terrible.
and it affects the mentor to a point where, yeah, forget it.
And hopefully it doesn't like stop that mentor from taking more mentees around. Are they called mentees? Mentees.
Mentees, yes.
But I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
It's very interesting that you pointed out about like what you became passionate about, right? When do you think that started for you? Do you think that, you look back in your earliest memory, when do you think that, I did not have that kind of clarity,
Yeah, I didn't have the kind of clarity all the way. I just keep trying different things. So when I try different things, I along the way, as I tried, so my analogy for careers is like food. If you haven't tried laksa, and I can describe to you how nice laksa is and all that, you will never be able to understand it. You never tried nasi lemak before, you never tried wanton mee before, you will never know. So careers in such a way that if you don't try it, you don't know. If you didn't go for that globe tracker, you wouldn't have known that it's actually quite fun, right? So one way is the total experimentation of your career. And some people say that, okay, you can only do that in your 20s. That's not true. You can do that in your 30s, 40s, 50s, anytime.
Very good point.
Depending on the amount of financial, maybe financial responsibility that you have, you should continue exploring all the way. KFC, Mr. Colonel Sanders, 65, started.
Yeah.
Anytime. So it's not about age. It's about having always that trying to figure out, hey, is this my place in the world? Is this where I value it? So throughout my entire life, while I was doing insurance, I thought that was the thing. But after a while, I was like, yeah, I love talking to clients. I love trying to draw certain things, but I don't like finance. I hate finance. I did very well. I was $1 million round table. Yeah, so it was good, but it's just money was good and all that, but it was bad inside.
You just didn't feel fulfilled?
Didn't feel fulfilled because I didn't only want to talk about money. I wanted to talk about this. What are you passionate about? Why does this excite you? What is God's gift to you that you can actually show the world and be that lighthouse? That I can talk 10 upon 10. So along the way, I kind of like stumbled and fall forward to a point where it's like, yeah, I know being a coach is something I really want to do, and that's my calling of my passion, my calling of my performance and pay. The entire three things, it's just something that you stumble into, you stumble forward.
Can I ask,
Go.
Can you remember when was that moment when you had that clarity? You knew like, okay, this?
Zero clarity all the way.
No, as in like when it fell into place and then it's like...
Okay, so whenever I'm in a workshop and I'm sharing with somebody something that they are very puzzled about human psychology, about people, about performance, and I see that it's almost like a student-teacher kind of thing. I was like, oh, I see them. It's like, yeah, I never thought about it that way. It made sense. And every time I do that, the enlightenment is like, wow, I gave freedom to somebody from being chained up by another belief. So a lot of times people will come to me and says, if I'm good at doing that job, just purely performance, it is my passion, right? It is not. Passion is things that energize you. The fire that inside that just fires up. It's almost like the eagle that's running. Eagle that's flying, not running. So is that...
Eagle can run also.
Eagle can run. That's very tough, very beautiful.
But can.
So every time I see the enlightenment, I do feel that I am breaking some chains of some belief that you didn't know that was you're built to do that. If you're a numbers guy, then do numbers. If you're a people guy, do people. If you're a presenter kind of girl, present. So, but there's something that for whatever reason, the world doesn't tell you that. If I'm your boss and you are doing numbers and you hate doing numbers, I'll tell you that, Lavinia, you're good at numbers. That's your talent.
Suck it up, do.
Not only suck it up, I approve that, I promote you into that, and I tell you that, hey, yeah, you're really good at it. And your mind, it messes up. It messes up your mind to a point where, actually, my boss tells me I'm good at numbers. My colleagues tell me I'm good at numbers. There is results and performance. Maybe that's my calling, but that's not.
Oh, I can see that happening a lot to many people.
Tons of people. So they go to work without fire in their eyes, but they do a very good job. And that's painful. So I see whenever I coach somebody one-on-one or when I'm doing a workshop and I see the enlightenment that some chain just broke in their minds, like, wow, okay, I know this is the path. And I never saw that when I talked about finance. I never saw that when I talked about professional will writing. I never saw that when other things.
But that's the thing, right? We look back and in retrospect, I see it. You know what I mean? But at the moment, I'm like, no, I just going through it. I
Exactly.
don't know what's going on. Yeah.
But it's life, right? You stumble towards things, and hopefully you stumble forward rather than stumble back.
I hope so. I hope so. I hope I continue stumbling forward. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So one interesting thing I want to ask you: the perfect career or the perfect job has your passion inside, but there's also within passion there's this called values. So for me, I value discovery a lot. I value boldness. I value adventure, and that's why I'm doing what I do. Right? I'm pushing the barrier. For you, when you're doing both emceeing and radio DJing, what is that value? If you were to think about a value that you had to say, yeah, actually, this is why I do this. This is living out my value.
Oh, wow. That one is this is very profound question.
Yeah. And when I think about your story just now, when you first started off in primary school and all that, you wanted to make people laugh.
Yeah.
You wanted people to smile.
I always wanted to entertain. Yeah.
You wanted to entertain. And maybe there's something about that as a clue for you. I'm not sure.
I guess, yeah. I mean, at the core of it, it was always about, entertaining someone and in a way, just making them feel good. So I guess it applies to everything, right? When we do the show in the morning, it's about making those people happy. You know, they turn on the radio, they're actually tuning into us, and we just want them to really be great companions to them. When I go into a voiceover, it's about helping that client to achieve what they want with my voice, you know, and putting a smile on their face, because when everything falls together, you've got the right voice for what you're doing and everything falls into place, it's such a satisfaction, you know. I guess, yeah, that's my value, you know. It's always, the core of it is always about a person.
Yeah.
I have to say that I really like being around people. But strangely enough, I like one-on-one or like, you know, smaller groups. I'm kind of like an extroverted introvert. Like I can do big crowds. I can stand in front of a stage, but I actually like, you know, to just be in a more intimate setting with just that one person and finding out what they're about and like, So I guess
Okay.
I never really saw it. Thanks for nailing it for me. Wow, Jason, you're very good at it.
All right. So thank you for sharing that. I think one last two questions. One question I had is that, do you think that in the next 5, 10, 15 years, are you still doing this or something else?
Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, it's a little bit tricky. I mean, being in the entertainment and the media, a lot of it is also about your image, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there's sort of like a shelf date, but I think like what I am doing is, you know, there's also my other things that I do, like voiceover,
MC,
even emceeing and all that. So I think I can still be doing this in 5 years' time. Definitely for voiceovers, because nice to see the face. Just the voice.
So it's something about putting a smile on people's face and something about using your voice and your personality to do that.
Yeah.
So definitely will be something there.
I really think so. Definitely for voiceovers, and I just enjoy every bit of it. Okay. So I don't see like I know that there's a shelf life, and that's only natural. Like you know, for radio DJ, after a while when I'm just old and gray and wrinkled, I also don't want to be on air anymore, lah. You know. So yeah, I want to be able to say, okay, it's time. It's time to just gracefully leave and exit. And move on to the next best thing. Yeah, and I'm not afraid about that. So glad that I'm in that position and able to have that mindset.
Right. I love life hacks, and I wanted to ask you, when it comes to any kind of life hack that you have that you can share with me about presenting, maybe presenting or communicating, what is that one thing that you learned throughout your entire life about that? It's like, okay, if you do this, it's going to be really good.
Very hard.
Just one. I know there are a lot.
Very hard. One is, this will improve any form of presenting that you do. Don't gesture so much with your hands.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it's the opposite.
Because it's very distracting.
But
so let's say let's have a conversation.
Slowly.
That's okay. But if you gesture a lot and like.
Yeah. Okay. So speed. So it's gesturing, but it is speed. Measured versus flippant.
Yeah, so don't gesture too much, make it controlled. And if you can, like if you're on stage, right, it's really about like, okay, you use your body to interact with the audience so that everyone feels like they are being talked to by you. You're talking to them, but you don't have to like, right. It's very distracting.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Good.
Yeah.
So measured, controlled gestures, but you should also not. You should gesture. You can't be just no gestures at all, right?
It has to be very controlled.
Right.
And you do find that there's a lot to teach, like how to give in one hack.
No lah, just one hack lah. Okay, so gesture but be measured. Don't go so fast.
Yeah. Or and the other one is, do you have a standing mic, like a mic?
No.
Okay, I use it.
Okay.
Okay. So if you're holding a mic, the one trick I can teach you, and already you will sound better, you will look better on stage, is this is mic craft. You place the top of the mic just on your chin and rest it there. It is the perfect height, the perfect length from like the space from your mouth to catch your sound, and it will be consistent because it's resting on something.
Yeah, so it doesn't move.
Because some people, they just hold it like that, this like that.
Well, that's a good hack.
Thank you. Oh, okay.
This is a damn good hack. Yeah, both. So if you are doing any kind of presenting, make sure you gesture but very measured. Don't go crazy on it. Second thing, put it on your chin so that there's always a perfect distance and the volume is always the same.
So that way you don't look so nervous. You look like you're in control. You know what you're doing. Yeah. And it actually helps. You will still feel nervous, okay? But doing those two things will actually help to center you. Then you start to control your nervousness.
Thank you so much for today. Thank you for your time, sharing your passion. Any one last thing that you want to share with people about passion? Some of them have a passion, but they kind of like, this normal Singapore way is like, no lah, cannot lah.
Yeah, I feel, when I think back on like, some friends who are just, they've fallen into the kind of jobs that they do, they may not find absolute joy.
Yeah. And it gets worse as you grow older because the pay gets more and more. To let that go, it's more difficult. Very painful. Anything you want to share with them?
Finding your passion. I think start small. Just make sure that you're doing something that makes you happy. Because I think you need to get into that mindset of recognizing whether it means so much for you that you need to go into it and leave what you're currently doing, change how your life is, right? So just little things that make you happy. I think start from there. Yeah. I am absolutely, like, even though I'm doing what I'm doing, I also have to make sure that I make enough money, right? And that's the reality of it. And I don't think I want you to be irresponsible. Just go your passion, just quit your job, go for it, Cannot lah. Yeah, because that is not practical. You sometimes need funding somewhere else to support your passion. And that's just how it is. So I would say, just start small. Don't let go of it, Just pursue it in a way that fits your lifestyle. Because I think, paychecks are hard to turn down, especially when you're good at what you do, even though you don't really like it. But that way you can still keep your passion going and do it in a way that fits in your life. And then one day something will become very clear to you. You go like, I think I'm ready to take this to the next level.
Thank you so much for your time today. Really enjoyed it.
Okay, now we can have our own chit-chat.
Nope.